Good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk on a prospective randomized comparison of low-dose and high-dose bupivacaine for cesarean delivery in severely preeclamptic women using invasive blood pressure monitoring. There was no conflict of interest or no financial aid for this study. Severely preeclamptic patients, as you all know, have decreased physiological reserve and impaired uteroplacental perfusion, and this leads to increased risk of intrapartum asphyxia. There is high incidence of IUGR, prematurity, and fetal distress in these patients. Maternal hypotension following spinal anesthesia may further aggravate this, may further impair this intraplacental perfusion. So the aim of this study was to see if a reduction in the dose of spinal bupivacaine would maintain maternal hemodynamics and will decrease the use of vasopressors and therefore a better neonatal outcome. After Institute Review Board approval and return informed consent, 28 severely preeclamptic women in the age group of 20 to 40 years were posted for elective cesarean delivery were included in the study. The exclusion criteria are as shown. Women were randomly allocated by a computer-generated random number table to one of the two groups. Group 1 received 7.5 milligram of 0.5% heavy bupivacaine with 20 micrograms of fentanyl, and Group 2 women received 10 milligrams of bupivacaine with 20 micrograms of fentanyl. The preoperative investigations were recorded and pre-medication was given. Mean of 3 non-invasive blood pressure recordings taken 1 minute apart was taken as the baseline value. After the patient was shifted inside the OT, 16-gauge IV cannula was secured, ECG, heart rate, IBP, and SpO2 were monitored. A spinal block was given in the left lateral position, and patients were co-hydrated with 20 ml per kg of normal saline, and then patients were turned supine with a left uterine displacement. Sensory block were assessed using pinprick test. A target level was T4 to T5, and if patient had level up to T6 and then complained of pain, 1 mic per kg of fentanyl IV was given as rescue analgesic, and if the level was less than T6, it was considered a block failure and converted to GA. Hypotension in our study was defined as mean arterial pressure fall more than 20% of the baseline value or a mean arterial pressure less than 90 millimeters of mercury, and it was treated with phenylephrine bolus of 50 micrograms. Primary outcome was the incidence of hypotension, and the secondary outcomes were total dose of vasopressors used and neonatal outcome assessed using Apgar score and neonatal umbilical arterial blood gases. This was a platelet study. The incidence of hypotension was compared using chi-square test, duration analyzed using Mann-Whitney test, and the hemodynamic changes were assessed using repeated measures of ANOVA. P-value less than 0.05 was considered significant. 28 patients totally were included in this study. Of this, 4 patients were excluded due to non-reassuring fetal heart rate and refusal to participate. So totally 24 were recruited, 12 to each group. The demographic and intraoperative data were comparable, but the time to maximum block was 4 minutes in group 1 as compared to 2.5 minutes in group 2. The incidence of hypotension episodes, the duration of hypotension, and the requirement of phenylephrine was significantly less in group 1 as compared to group 2. Maternal blood gases and neonatal blood gases were comparable in both the groups. The birth weight and the Apgar scores were also comparable in both the groups. On intra-group comparison, the maximum decrease in mean arterial pressure was 17% from the baseline in group 1 as compared to 25.5% in group 2. And the mean fall of mean arterial pressure was 13.5 millimeters of mercury in group 1 as compared to 21.8 millimeters of mercury in group 2. This is a Kaplan-Meier survival curve showing that there is no significant difference between the groups in the time to first episode of hypotension. And this is a box plot showing the requirement of phenylephrine, which is significantly less in group 1 as compared to group 2. So lowering the dose of spinal anesthetic is associated with reduced incidence of hypotension, requirement of vasopressors, and episodes of nausea or vomiting. And addition of fentanyl allows successful use of a low dose of bupivacaine. Ben David et al. In his study has showed that smaller dose of intrathecal local anesthetic with fentanyl will increase the efficacy and provide better hemodynamic stability. Most previous studies have done recorded blood pressure non-invasively at 1 to 2 minutes interval. The advantage of using invasive monitoring is that it detects rapid hemodynamic changes after spinal drug administration, which may be missed if blood pressure is taken non-invasively. The first study in a healthy pregnant women with continuous monitoring was done by Langster et al. The limitation of this study was that it had a small sample size and the preoperative blood pressure was taken non-invasively, as it was taken as a baseline value. So we conclude by saying that a single shot 7.5 milligram of spinal bupivacaine with 20 mics of fentanyl will provide adequate surgical anesthesia, a stable intra-arterial mean arterial pressure values, and reduced use of vasopressors in severely preeclamptic women undergoing elective cesarean delivery. Thank you.